Hey! How's it going? Welcome to Rockin' the Valley's Cyber Speakeasy, your source for music, conversation, and cocktails. The password is mistletoe antibiotic. My name is Mike. I am Not For Coltrane. Welcome to my attic stairwell here for the Cyber Speakeasy. I hope that you have something warm and delicious and tasty here with you that you are able to enjoy with us this evening. And speaking of warm and tasty and delicious, I have with me here some wonderful folks from Touchstone Theater we're all going to be talking about Christmas City Follies, a beloved Bethlehem tradition. Now, this is Christmas City Follies 21, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
All right, Christmas City Follies 21. And so we'll raise a glass to that, but let's also go around and see what everybody's drinking. Emma, since you're up there, actually we should say who everybody is. We've got Emma Ackerman, and I'll say who you are, and then you say your full name and what you're drinking. Emma, we'll start with you.
Sure. Hi, my name's Emma Ackerman. I'm an ensemble member at Touchstone, and tonight I'm drinking some lovely tea and lemon and honey, and also mead from Colonial Meadery, which is quite tasty.
Nice. Very nice. Excellent. So is mead and tea a thing? I never heard of that before.
I don't know, but it tastes nice and it's comforting on a chilly evening, so I think it should be a thing.
So it's a thing now. All right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Adam, what do you have there?
Hello, I am Adam Ercolani, and I am an MFA student and apprentice at Touchstone Theater, and I have some Dark Horse Chardonnay with me this evening.
Dark Horse Chardonnay. Interesting. Very nice. What led to that seems like an interesting choice for this time of year. What is is there any bit of a story, or you're just like, no, this is just the first thing I grabbed?
It's actually a gift from one of our colleagues, Christopher Shore, and I finally got to crack it open this evening.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad you decided this was a worthy occasion. Very nice.
Absolutely.
Sean, what do you have?
Hey, this is Sean Patrick Cassidy. I am also an MFA student and apprentice at Touchstone Theater, and tonight I'm drinking, well, the only acceptable drink, really, Tullamore Dew whiskey from Southern Ireland. It's a good, solid whiskey, and apparently I'm supposed to pour it into a smaller vessel, so cheers. Here we go.
Yeah, well, yes, that is strongly advisable. That is, yes. I have what is called, I believe, and it looked more attractive when the milk was more sort of at the froth milk was at the very top. Something called a London Fog, which is hot tea with frothed milk, and I put in some sugar, and I didn't actually, it was supposed to be with like Earl Grey tea, but I just had regular tea with a little bit of lemon and some vanilla, and there's a cinnamon stick, and about 5 minutes before getting on the conference, the show with all of you, I was teaching myself how to froth milk in a saucepan using a balloon whisk, and I think it is okay. It is not bad for a first attempt. So cheers to all of you. Thank you very much for joining me. And thanks to all of you at home who are watching us please, if you're there on the YouTube with the comments, leave us a note. Let us know what you're drinking, because we would love to share that with you. Thank you so much. So, Christmas City Follies. Emma, I'm going to throw it over to you first, because I know you've been with out of the three of the folks here, you've been with Touchstone the longest. So let me put that over there so that people can see you and me together. What is Christmas City Follies for folks who have not had the good fortune of being able to partake in it before?
So Christmas City Follies is a variety show that we put on every year at Touchstone. At Touchstone, we do primarily original theater, so that means when we do a Follies, we start from scratch. We write it new every year. So it's a variety show. There's a lot of characters and sketches, songs, jokes. We have a certain number of recurring acts and characters that come back every year, beloved favorites year after year. Local wonderful humans, Mary Wright as Little Red, and Bill George as the old guy, and the shopping cart ballet. And more recent one, I think within the last 3 years maybe, is the BNSN, which is the Better Not Shout Network, which is a Christmas sports network.
Yes.
But yeah, we get together and we make up cool Christmas themed material over the course of a couple months, and then we usually put it on as a show. Right.
So I mean, and well, first off, I got to say that it is remarkable. The intensity of the process has to go with creating an entirely new show, dealing with some of the same themes, but entirely new show every year, starting in basically in October, right, or the middle of October or so. Yeah. And so maybe we could talk a little bit about the writing process with all three of you who are here. So we're coming into the holiday season. It's time for Christmas City Follies again, this beloved Touchstone tradition, Christmas City Follies 21. And having a large number of people in a small enclosed space, breathing the same air, doesn't seem like the best plan, of course. So,
Indeed.
So then, you and the other ensemble members are like, okay, what do we do? How is that process just in terms of like sort of generating the idea? Because I know that J.P. Jordan, I think his title is creative director for Touchstone.
Artistic director.
I was close.
Yeah.
Artistic director.
You were.
Artistic director for Touchstone. He kind of had some pieces of it. But what was that process in terms of working with the ensemble and saying, okay, how do we turn this around and keep what we love about Follies, but also be able to do it in a safe, responsible way?
So the one thing we knew from the get-go was that, like, we weren't going to not do Follies. Like, we were going to find some way of doing some kind of a Follies this year, because to not do that, like, it just wasn't thinkable.
Right.
So like you said, the next step was, okay, what can we do that is, safe and appropriate and correct for the moment? Like you said, JP came to the idea of a movie pretty early on in the process. That's what we're doing. That's what we've been doing over the past month, a little less than a month, I think. We have been traipsing all around town and, finding color coordinated masks to go with most of our costumes, and, keeping the camera crew far away from the actors,
right,
and just getting creative. But it's been nice it's been a good fit in that, even in a normal year, part of it's not just a Christmas Follies, it's Christmas City Follies. It's about Bethlehem. It's a reflection of Bethlehem in some way.
Yeah.
And normally that's just like, okay, we'll tell some stories from Bethlehem. We'll share, we'll have some special guests from around Bethlehem. But this year we actually get to use Bethlehem as our stage. We actually get to go places and say, like, we're here in this we're here at City Hall. We're here at Main Street. We're here on the South Side. And it's like, Bethlehem is so much a character in this Follies, above and beyond any other year, I think. So that's been a really nice thing to sort of discover.
Well, that's very cool. Excellent. I think this is probably a good opportunity for me to show folks the trailer, essentially, that I think you put together in terms of editing.
Yeah.
Anything that people might want to know in order to sort of set this up what they're about to see.
Yeah, I think you'll see some things for those that have seen Follies before. You'll see some familiar faces. You'll also see some new faces. And I think it's interesting. We just a few of us just watched the first rough cut of the movie last night, and while it very much looks different, it feels like Follies. Like the heart of Follies still feels like it's there, and that's very exciting for
That's great.
us.
That's
So
very,
yeah,
very cool.
enjoy.
All right. Let me put this up. And I should also mention for Emma, for you, as well as for Sean and Adam, you're not going to be able to see it, but the folks who are watching at home on YouTube right now are going to be able to see this. Or I sometimes will switch things around so that the people who are with me here online as the guests, I have to make a bunch of changes inside the conference software to be able to make that work. By the time I would make all those changes, the 30-second teaser trailer would be over. So
Indeed.
So I think you three have had a chance to see it already. Emma, obviously, you've spent a lot of time with it. But now, for the benefit of the folks who are watching at home, here is the trailer for this year's Christmas City Follies.
Touchstone Theater's Christmas City Follies, a high-spirited, homegrown send-up of the Christmas season in the Christmas City, goes online for 2020. This all-original variety show of laughs, absurdity, music, heart, and seasonal beauty premieres with a YouTube watch party on December 20th at 7 p.m. You can enjoy from the comfort of your home through January 2nd. Tickets and information at touchstone.org.
There we are. Tickets and information at touchstone.org. I think I'm going to shift things over right now so that we can see. Hold on. I need to find a way to do that. And that means I need another window up to be able to... it went away. Well, that's not ideal, but we can make that work too. I'm going to put the camera back on me for just a quick moment as you see me frantically working with my computer so that I can put this over on Adam so that we can talk with Adam. And I'll turn that off so that we can do that. And... aha! There's Adam. How are you, sir?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
As you know, but as the audience may not, well, this is not that unusual for me in terms of my hosting. But I'm a little bit rushed in terms of getting things together, so I'm a little harried right now. But that is okay. I'm very glad to be here talking with you. And how's your Chardonnay?
I am enjoying it. Sometimes drier whites are a little bit too much for me, but this one's got a good thing going on, you know.
Excellent, very nice. Well, we will have to pass that along to Mr. Christopher Shore, of course, Christopher being an ensemble member at Touchstone as well as a theater professor at Moravian College here in the city of Bethlehem. So you are part of the Master of Fine Art program, which is pretty new. In fact, you and Sean are the inaugural MFA students, if I understand correctly, as part of this collaboration between Touchstone and Moravian. What brought you to this particular program in the first place?
Yeah, absolutely. So Sean and I are indeed the first round of cohorts to go through this program. We got here in August of 2019. So I have been performing since the age of 14. I really got into the theater scene when I was in high school. Started to kind of find my voice as a playwright later as I was about to graduate from undergrad. I graduated from Misericordia University up in Dallas, Pennsylvania. That is the area I'm originally from, the Wilkes-Barre area. Actually did a double major there in business and English, but really tried to orient my English studies on theater as much as I could. Performed in a bunch of main stage shows while I was there.
That's interesting, though, the business aspect of it. I suspect that that's going to come in handy as trying to, survive economically as in any kind of creative career can be very challenging. Was that part of the thought that went into that decision?
Yeah, absolutely. It was very weird for me to kind of do two different things at the same time with two different parts of my brain throughout all of school, but I made it work.
But welcome to life, I suppose, right?
Yeah. Did my best. I actually worked in a nonprofit for a little bit while I was in the Wilkes-Barre area. I worked for two different chambers of commerce, kind of got my feet in the nonprofit world with that. Actually had a big master plan to go right into grad school for a master's in public administration. Stumbled upon the MFA program at Touchstone and Moravian. Remembered that I had a very fond experience with Moravian when I was looking for undergrad schools. That was actually the choice I almost ended up with.
Yeah.
And I had a brief interaction with Touchstone 3 or 4 years ago now, where I, on a whim, took a trip to Bethlehem by myself and ended up seeing a Thursday Pay What You Will show at Touchstone in the front row.
Was it the Follies? Was it Christmas City Follies then?
It wasn't. It was actually a touring show called Crazy Glue.
Okay.
Which was a wild experience in the best way imaginable. So kind of found this program that wrapped up everything that I was interested in one. It kind of let me explore my voice further as a writer, give me some collaborative work that I had been lacking in my theater experiences so far.
Sure.
Still let me perform, tie in my experience with nonprofit and working in some arts management, and getting to teach as well. I'm really invested in our arts education program, and I'm very thankful to do that.
We should. I'll put up some links after the show or put something. And actually, if you have a minute, you're welcome to put some things in the comments while we're talking with other folks about Touchstone's. I'm blanking on the name, where we go into the schools. It's called
Young Playwrights Lab.
Young Playwrights Lab. Thank you. Young Playwrights Lab is this phenomenal program that Touchstone's been doing for quite a few years now, and it's always can use more support. And it's always great when people know about what we're doing with that. You were part of Follies for the first time last year, since this is your second year as MFA. What was it like going into this process of like, all right, we got a whole show to write, we got 4 weeks to do it, then we got to get it on its feet and get it on stage, and boom. How did that compare to experiences you'd had? What were the things that were overwhelming about it? What were the things that were awesome about it?
Yeah, it was wild. I come from a very straightforward musical theater background, where you are given a product that already exists and you are guided by your director to interpret it, and you perform.
Right. Yeah.
My first experience with the devising process was actually during Festival Unbound last year, throughout August, September, and October. And I think we had a 1 week break in between when Festival Unbound wrapped and when Follies began.
Yeah.
So I kind of got my, dipped my toes into the waters through Festival Unbound, was involved in some devising with that, and then really tried to hit the ground running with the whole Follies process last year. And kind of just establish that comfortability, or doing it anyway, even if I'm not feeling comfortable with what I'm doing.
Right, absolutely.
Of just creating something and seeing what happens with it, whether it's by myself or with other people. And then it's a matter of deciding whether or not it's worth it to push it forward or just toss it and start working on something else.
Absolutely. I mean, so then what were some of the most fun things about being part of this process last year?
Just playing, a lot of the devising process is really just getting to play with each other. And I think us as adult human beings need to think of the benefit of continuing to play with each other.
Yeah.
That's an activity reserved for kids, unfortunately, most of the time. So getting in a room together or getting in a virtual room together and just leaving room and space and energy for each other to make a fool out of ourselves and see what the hell happens.
Which is, and at sort of at two levels, as one is having the courage to just sort of like, I'm doing something ridiculous and it's okay that people are seeing me do something ridiculous. And the stress of, I'm trying out this new idea, I'm trying out this new interpretation on a character, or I've got this idea for a sketch and I don't know if it's any good or not, but we're going to give it a shot, and being ready to fail in that way, in addition to being willing to, so kind of two different ways of potentially being able to make a fool of yourself, which is something that, as musicians, as performers, that other folks have had on the show have to deal with as well. But then, sort of so much as an actor, now as a writer, to have that, that courage to say, "Yep, I don't know how this is going to go, but here we go." What does that do? What's that like? I mean, especially since you were in many ways working with less of a net than you're used to, right? You're used, and obviously, and I don't want to diminish the role of the directors, in this case JP, for Follies. But it's different from when you're creating your own thing and you're in a collaborative process with some other creative people creating a brand new thing. There's sort of a different kind of stakes in terms of like, you're not just trusting someone else's vision to guide you through. You've got to put a lot of yourself into that process. What was that like? Especially since it was fairly new for you.
Sure, yeah. It's definitely overwhelming at first. And, I think I kind of, as I went along, found my groove with particular pairings of people that I definitely worked well with.
Sure.
Sean and I have obviously gotten to work together a lot through the festival, through Follies, and through our Fresh Voices that we did together earlier in the summer.
Right.
And one of my favorite pieces that I got to perform and develop for Follies last year was with Miss Emma Ackerman here. Definitely one of my favorite things I've ever done on stage. It was a nonverbal movement piece that we got to work with. And that wouldn't have happened if the two of us hadn't been willing to go into a room saying, I don't know what this wants to be, but let's go walk onto the stage and move around it and see what comes out of it.
Yeah. This was the one with the shadow play where there were two of you in front of the screen and two of you behind the screen?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So the two of us acting as the real human beings in the scene, and then our two wonderful interns last year, Alex Vogelgazang and Mira Plesh-Gill, who acted as our shadows behind a screen, which is an amazing thing to do.
It was because conceptually it was astonishing, and it was executed so well too. It was really sort of mind-blowing. So that was very, very cool. That is excellent. Speaking of collaborators, let me put this over on, let's see if I can do this right. I'm going to do it slightly different. I'm going to put Sean over here. I'm going to add Sean as the spotlight, and then I'm going to, people can see my mouse. Oh well. We're going to do it like that so that everybody can see Sean, and then, hey, how's it going, sir?
Hey, great.
So before we get back into things about the creative process, what brought you here to Bethlehem? How did you end up in this particular program?
Yeah, well, I am from just outside of Detroit, Michigan, originally, and have lived all over. I don't know if I would call myself a nomad, but I've definitely lived enough places where that might be accurate at this point. And, I worked out in Denver for a couple of years, in Boston, Chicago, and before coming to Bethlehem, I was laying on a beach in Florida, and I thought, you know what I'm really missing?
Yes. Is a
little bit of northeast action here. Yeah,
yes,
I think
yes.
I really need to make my way up to Pennsylvania.
We need to be cold and icy and humid in the summer.
Yeah.
And we need all of that. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I can understand.
Really humidity is
yes.
the common theme.
Yes.
No, I mean, I would say that it's a story about saying yes, right? In theater, and saying yes to just life and experiences, because Touchstone's program was brand new.
Right. Right.
And I did something like go on Google and search theater master's programs.
Sure.
20 this year, right now, and found it.
So
I don't even remember. I don't remember where. I don't remember how it. But
that's some good search engine optimization from folks like Emma and Christopher Shore.
Yeah. And so we had to fill out 3 or 4 pieces of paper to apply for the program. And I was on a road trip. I was going on a road trip from Florida to Michigan. I thought, this will kill some time and fill out these papers. I think I got it in just under the second or third wire that it was put in front of me. It was like, are you going to fill out this paper? Because yes, I want to do this. Luckily I was forgiven for all of that and accepted anyway. And it's been amazing. It's been
That's
really,
excellent.
it's been a really really amazing experience being here, being with this group that has known each other and worked together for so long, and being a part of something new, something growing, something that has a sustainable future, and something that will help artists launch their careers for generations, literally generations to come. Like, I'm so excited to be here on the ground floor, you know?
That is very cool. That is very cool. Well, in terms of creating brand new things, I wanted to circle back to Follies a little bit. One of the things that, in addition to what Emma and I were talking about in terms of the movie aspect, there also was this idea of, we want to have some in-person thing. And I think that was one of the things that JP also brought to the table, saying, we the focus, the main thing is going to be this movie, but we don't want to lose the in-person aspect entirely. And then you and Adam ended up being, if I understand correctly, in kind of a leadership role with what has, I think, internally been called Mini Follies. I don't know that that's the official name that we're calling it. What was that process like in terms of how that came to the table, what the discussion was like, and then you and Adam going into figuring out how to make that work?
Yeah, it's called Sean and Adam's Holiday Extravaganza. Right? That's the title.
That's excellent. That's very good. You put that on the billboards.
If you got billboard money, let me know.
You just get a projector. You're just going to shine on someone else's billboard.
Right. Writing it down.
Yeah, right.
The process there was. It was great. I don't know. We were kind of suggested a device, kind of a, okay, maybe you go about it this way. It's a mini Christmas carol, and other than that, we're just gonna kind of give you this group of people whom you've worked with a little bit by now, and go from there. And I think that Adam and I having an exposure to Follies from the previous year was paramount. It was just super important that we have that, because we kind of know what the community is expecting, what they're hoping for, what they would like to see, characters that they might like to see, or at least the same, and that's super important, because it is, and this show, along with Follies, along with much of the other things that Touchstone does, is an offering to the community of Bethlehem. It is an artistic offering to the community, and yeah, so that's where we started, and working with the old pros and the new MFA students that came in. They were all really just down to play. That was great. It was really great. It made our jobs exceedingly easy. And after we have to do this royalty-free music. We have 15 songs to choose from or something that we can go out into the city and sing. It took off after that, and past couple of weeks have just been really refining the product. So if you haven't seen it, please look for our other showings this weekend.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask about that. How can people go see Follies see the what are we calling it, the Sean and Adam extravaganza? By the way, I know you gave yourself top billing, right? Yes. And so where and when can people see this?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll tell you the dates and the times, and then get a little more information. Tomorrow, first Friday, right? December, first Friday of the month, we have a performance at the Christmas Tree on New Street. That's just on the south side. Okay. It is at the end of the Greenway. Right. Over on New Street, coming off the bridge. It's right at the spot where the new parking deck connects with the building, and there's sort of that causeway over top of it. Right, okay. Yes, absolutely. And that is at 6:30. All right. 6:30 tomorrow, and 7:30 as well. Okay. And then Saturday, so if you can't make it out to First Friday and the tree lighting, the Christmas tree trail that Southside Arts District is having, Saturday on the 5th, we have a planned show for the Sun Inn, the Winter Garden, the stage at the Sun Inn in that courtyard. And that's slated for 1:30 and 3 o'clock. And all this info is on all of our social medias, touchstone.org and Facebook and Instagram. You'll follow us there, and you'll get all the in details, right?
I should also mention that Emma, who is a force of nature managing all of Touchstone social media, I'll put this up so everybody can see, has been very helpfully, speaking on behalf of Touchstone Theater, been adding this to the comments right now. So if you're watching the live show, or if you're watching the replay with the live comments, you'll see all of that information written out if you want to do some copy paste right there. Thank you for that, Emma, and thank you, Sean, for being able to give us the summary there.
Yeah, Emma has the game on the social media for sure.
She does indeed. She does indeed. She's quite good.
And then last one I left off is Sunday the 6th, historic Bethlehem, Christmas in the Quarter, in the historic quarter.
Right.
We have a little space, we have an area down there, and we have shows slated for 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock on Sunday. That being said, I don't want to expect this or anything, but we have some weather coming our way, it looks like this weekend. So just stay tuned for updates on the social media for weather delays or interruptions like that.
Make sure you're following Touchstone on all the socials, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter.
YouTube. We're on YouTube.
That's right, on YouTube, exactly. Check it out on YouTube, which is also where you can watch another, you can rewatch the promo trailer that we just showed a few minutes ago. I'm going to leave the screen up with all of us to now sort of talk about how the... So, Sean, I've started to talk with you about how the mini Follies, I guess we're calling it now. And Adam, I want to get your perspective as well. How many first-year MFA students, I think it's five or six, I don't want to leave anybody out.
Yeah, we got 5 who joined us this year.
Okay. And there had been some, and actually we can talk a little bit about how Festival Unbound worked this year. So just to recap, Festival Unbound being this massive undertaking in October of 2019. Touchstone, basically, this was also your introduction to Touchstone. It was like, all right, we're going to put Sean and Adam to work, and they're going to be hauling stuff and making things happen.
Welcome to Touchstone Theater.
Welcome
we're
to
doing
Touchstone
an enormous
Theater.
festival in 2 months. You're welcome.
Now go make things happen. And sort of, I was going with that. Okay, so that it was this massive 10-day festival with art and music and theater happening all over the city of Bethlehem and even outside the city of Bethlehem a little bit. And the idea comes around to say, okay, we want to continue Festival Unbound into another year. And in this time of people being concerned about making sure we're social distancing and not spreading a virus, Festival Unbound this year ended up taking the form of a series of outdoor performances. So I don't want to get us too far sidetracked, but I do want to talk a little bit about the projects that Adam and Sean, you created for that, because I thought those were phenomenal. So coming off of that, you created your own individual shows for Festival Unbound this year. Worked a little bit with the new MFAs, and now you're in a spot of like, all right, JP says, okay, you got to figure out something that goes with this. You've done Follies once. Now put this together. Here's a whole brand new crew of people. What was the first, what were some of the first steps to going through that? And I guess what were some of the conversations that the two of you were having going back and forth in terms of how do you orient yourselves and how do you make this work? Adam, I've been talking to Sean for a little bit. Why don't you go?
Sure. So as you said, we got a chance to work with the 5 new MFA students who joined us this past August. We all worked on a show together called Tales of Hope and Resistance, which we produced for the festival, which was a wonderful experience where the 7 of us got to do this project, just the 7 of us.
Yeah.
We worked with Mock Turtle Marionette Theater Company, which was an amazing experience. Sean and I have worked together plenty. As I said, we both produced a solo show for Fresh Voices in June, and we did a collaborative show for that as well.
Are you still roommates at this point also?
We are, yes.
Okay,
I'm upstairs
so I mean,
right
there's
now and he's downstairs.
there's a lot of togetherness. There's a lot of togetherness, which is good. So it's good that you have both a healthy relationship and all these different aspects of how things are going.
That's all right.
That's why Sean has such a large container of whiskey that he needs to. So when the two of you are like, okay, so we know these people, we've worked with them a little bit, we know a little bit about Follies. Then what does the creative process end up looking like? How do you then take a leadership role in that and give them some kind of direction of where to go in creating this? Or do you say, we want to get your ideas and then we're going to put something together? Or do you sit around in a whole room and everybody, kicks ideas back and forth? What did that process look like?
Yeah, so the two of us, kind of setting the basis for what we wanted this process to be, kind of just ended up having these conversations as we spend time in the same apartment about what can inspire it and what we think the through line can be and what we want to use as the mode of development. So like Sean said, this is, heavily includes some Christmas carols, and then we came up with a fun little through line to kind of set up for the audience who our characters are, why they're together, and why they're singing these songs here.
Right.
And if I'm remembering correctly, we had 3 Zoom sessions, Monday, Wednesday, and a Friday of 1 week, and that was our time to create the show. So the two of us went into this Zoom room with our 9 performers and collaborators, and we approached them with these songs, and we ended up splitting them into different pairings and groups of 3 and splitting them in half. And getting them to collaborate in different ways and kind of organizing it in that way. So that kind of inspired our dynamic for the show, which is that we have 3 groups of 3 that are performing as this collective troupe of 9 now. And just allowing them to go off with what we've just shared with them and say, use this song as your inspiration, play with this, find a way to approach the song that might be unconventional, and just in conversation and through playing and through talking to each other and through working on this very minimal piece of a script, tell us who your characters are and we can piece it together later.
So it sounds, and part of the inspiration, it sounds a little bit like when you say carols, a little bit sort of like, okay, we've got groups of people who are like going door to door, there's out singing, and here's how they would encounter each other. Is that the sort of the traditional caroling idea? Is that part of the inspiration there? Yeah,
absolutely. And if you are fortunate enough to come to one of our performances, we do not begin the show with our actors just on stage in front of an audience. They are going to run through the masses and get everyone's attention and get everyone ready to go before they jump in front of you and start performing.
Very cool. Emma, if I'm correct, you weren't directly involved with necessarily quite as much of the creative process for the live shows. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
But I've been really lucky enough to get to enjoy all of them in person.
That's what I was going to ask about. Yeah. What was it like seeing that creative process happen and then sort of come to fruition? Like, oh, hey, I know these. This is how this is coming together.
Yeah. No, it's a wild time to be doing street theater. Like it's in one way it's so very much rooted in Touchstone's history and our bones and this is so much who we are. And at the same time, it's like, now do make your way through the audience, but don't actually make your way too close through the audience. And we got the nice masks that you can I don't know how they're formulated exactly, but they're better for singing and breathing and not just like ing masks against yourself while you're trying to sing. And it was like, okay, this is still us doing our thing. Right. Just in a very peculiar time. And I think it really speaks to what, Adam and Sean were able to put together with the cast very, very quickly is something that feels fun and delightful and also very true to Touchstone.
Yeah. Actually, and so for people who may not know that much about Touchstone's history, I think that is a really relevant point, that it sort of grew out of street theater. Was as a key part of it. I should also say, how long have you been with Touchstone?
I've been with Touchstone for about 12 years.
Wow. That is, and even that is not. It is only a fraction of the time that Touchstone's been around.
Yeah, it's funny because like at Touchstone, Christopher and I are the babies at 12 years with the company. But you know, as I think Adam was saying, it's like, yeah, we've been working together for a crazy long time now. You know, our co-founder Bill George has obviously been with us since the dinosaurs walked the earth, and you know, it was sort of his interest in street theater and physical theater and mime theater that really, you know, got things going at the beginning of Touchstone's history in, I want to say, 1981, and yeah, it's been a lot of things over the years, but I think the sort of the idea of a core ensemble that works together for a long time has always been a big part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think this would be an awesome time, since this is Rock in the Valley. We do want to make sure that we have at least a little bit of music. And actually, you know, I don't think about it. I'm going to talk a little bit more about ukuleles, because that's become a Follies thing. But I'm going to put, I'm going to see who's up here. We've got, it's still on Sean, but I'm going to change that so that everybody can see Emma. And I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do that. So now everybody can see Emma up close and personal. If I understand that you are going to grace us with a bit of a medley of a few of the songs that people will see during the various permutations of Follies this year.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So for Follies, we always do a certain amount of writing our own songs. Original theater also means we do a lot of original music.
Sure.
And then we'll do some traditional stuff as well. And as Adam and Sean have been doing, there will be a certain amount of, let's take a traditional thing and then let's do it a little bit weird too. But yeah, let's start with a little medley. We're going to start with a song that I wrote together with one of our MFA students, Sarah Group. We were riffing on this idea of what it's like to grow up Jewish, and it's Christmas time. And you have these, you know, everyone else in your school or all your friends are all off doing Christmas things, and your family is not, but you've still got traditions that you do with them, and they're still important, so.
By all means.
This is our new being Jewish a Christmas song. It's laid back and a little bit strummy. We're different, and it's okay, and it's Christmas. The things we do are kind of funny. When I was a kid, growing up in Philly, my parents and I would drive around on Christmas Eve. Outside it was chilly, but looking at the lights was kind of profound. Movies and Chinese food, yeah. That is what we used to do. Ritz 5 in Philly for a classy art flick. Maybe some vegetable moushu. This is our new being Jewish a Christmas song. It's laid back and a little bit strummy. We're different, and it's okay, and it's Christmas. The things we do are kind of funny. And then because it's 2020, we had to sing about 2020 at least a little bit. Trying not to make it be a bummer, but... Oh, it's out with the old and in with the new. A toast to our families, to me and to you. To brightening futures, our prayers all cleave. To happy tomorrows on this New Year's Eve. Oh, the new year is bright, a new page fresh and bold. For it's in with the new and it's out with the old. But we must remember that our hopes were so clean a full year ago, end of 2019. December 2019, we hailed a new year to fair 2020 with vision so clear. But 11 months later, as we put it to bed, maybe we should hold judgment on next year instead. And then from the mini Follies front, we've got a whole bunch of great songs, but I think this one's my favorite. Early on one Christmas morn, Jesus Christ the Son was born, singing carols, Christmas songs. Early on one Christmas morn, 3 wise men saw the star at night, star that lit the heaven so bright, star that led where Christ was born. Early on one Christmas morn, early on one Christmas morn, Jesus Christ the Son was born, singing carols, Christmas song. Early on one Christmas morn, early on one Christmas morn.
That is
So
excellent.
yeah, there's your official medley of Follies stuff.
Very, very, very nicely done. And I should also say that I did not give you a tremendous amount of lead time to be able to prepare that. So that was really very nicely done. I'm going to put it up on all of us. And also, so folks are online with us. Sarah, who is watching, appreciates the shout out, Emma. So thank you. Wanted to let you know that she is watching along with us. Adam, I believe people who are related.
Sarah group. Awesome.
Adam, I believe people who are related to you or mentioning that they're watching from Northeast PA, drinking water and root beer separately, not together, which is a good decision on their part. And Bex mentioned that French presses are also great for getting frothed milk at home. Yes, that would be great if I actually had a French press. So good to know. With that song in particular, and I am glad that Sarah is watching. Sarah, if you want to chime in on the comments, please do. One of the things that I remember most, I don't remember if it was last year's Follies or the year before, but it's not uncommon, Emma, for you to do a solo song about the experience of being Jewish around this time of year. Or that there's something, if it's not about being Jewish, it's like here's our Hanukkah corner.
Yep. Here it's like, and here's Emma doing a Hanukkah thing. And it was funny, one of the proposals this year was actually like that, Emma comes on stage, all right, hi, I'm Emma Ackerman, I'm going to tell you a little bit about being Jewish, and then Sarah comes on, hi, I'm Sarah, I'm actually also Jewish. Oh, really? You too? There's 2 of us this year?
Yay! That's never happened before.
It's confusing, but cool. I dig it.
Yeah, no, the lyric that stuck with me so much was this is the time. I don't remember. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to rhyme it, but something in fact, this is the time when I come out and sing about Hanukkah because I'm the Jewish person in the ensemble. I have mixed feelings about this.
Yes.
So I love how that is expanding this year, and how Sarah is part of that creative process as well. And I wanted to go back to ukuleles, and this is something that Adam and Sean can jump in on as well. So, but first, Emma, where did the ukulele thing come from? How did that become a Follies tradition? Does it, in fact, predate you being part of the ensemble, or is it something that happened in the past 12 years?
So I think it's something that happened additively, and perhaps not entirely planned. But it used to be primarily Bill's thing. Like, Bill would come out as his clown character, the old guy, and he'd do I'm the old guy, I'm going to tell you a story. And he'd do his shtick, and maybe he'd whip out a ukulele and sing a little song as the old guy. And then I want to say that Mary also, like a couple years into my doing Follies, Mary was like, hey, I got this cute little ukulele, and I'm not super comfortable with it yet, but I'm just going to play like a little something with just 2 or 3 chords that I can feel comfortable with. This like, great, now we've got 2 ukuleles. And then a couple years ago, I want to say 2016, we did a show called Voodoo, which was a 3-person musical with Bill, Mary, and me. And JP said, you're all going to play ukulele for this. Here are your 3 ukuleles for this. And it's like, great, I guess we're all getting closer as performers and friends and learning more about ukuleles together.
And Emma, at that point, had you ever touched a ukulele before?
Nope.
Okay.
I'd done some guitar and not super extensively, but just in high school.
Okay.
As I think most of us pick up a guitar at some point in high school. And but then I think just year after that point was like, oh, and then this person has joined us. This apprentice has come on this year, and they also play the ukulele. and our longtime interns, the Vogelgesangs, they who have both graduated and gone off to college now, but they both play ukulele. So it's like, okay, that's two more. And I think there was actually a joke 2 years ago where, like, 5 of us come on stage dressed as Christmas trees with ukuleles, kazoos. We start playing together. And then the magnificent comedian Sam Beadle stomps on stage. Is like, "Are you kidding, guys? I can't be in the play because I don't play the ukulele. I thought you were better than this." So yeah, now there's somehow always a gag about people not playing or not playing ukuleles.
Well, and
it was me last year.
Yeah, yeah.
And the image that I pulled and so the social media promoted for tonight had Sean playing ukulele. Sean, had you touched a ukulele before you came to Touchstone?
That's funny. Actually, I don't know. Emma, did you see my audition tape for the program?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So this is a great story. I bought my first ukulele January 1st of 2018 or whatever, or 2018, right? Yes. I'm not in the program yet, right? I'm not going to be accepted until July or whatever. I'm not going to be in Bethlehem until August or September. And I bought a ukulele, and without knowing that this was such a Touchstone thing or an ensemble theater thing or whatever thing, I made an audition tape that had me holding my ukulele, and I come out and I don't know how to play it yet, and I put it in my lap and I kind of like tune it a little bit, I mess with it, and then I have a record player over here that I then just kind of reach over and turn up the volume on, and it's playing ukulele music because I can't do anything with this.
It's kind of an Andy Kaufman inspired bit here.
Yeah. Less inspired and more just like directly stolen.
Okay.
And that was it. And I just told some jokes, and it was apparently good enough. Yeah, you were like, but
this guy has a ukulele. He's one of us.
Yeah, exactly. And we're adding more and more people. I know that I know people like Sarah plays ukulele on the song. So obviously we're going to have a whole battalion here soon.
In fact, Sarah just commented that online to say that she said it's serendipitous that she also has a ukulele. Obviously, it was meant to be. So I think that also is a pro tip for any aspiring thespians who want to join the Master of Fine Arts program. That's the joint production between Touchstone and Moravian. Start learning uke now. Include that in the audition video. Of course, I guess
it works out. It's worth it.
If we could reach a point where everyone just shows up with ukulele, and then okay, well now you got to do something different. So like ukulele and kazoo, that's what you need to be able to get into the program. Adam, have you ever picked up a uke, or is this still something that's in your future?
No, I refuse.
I got 2 of them, man. I got 2 of them downstairs right here.
There's some lines that you will not cross.
No, I've actually been a singer for longer than I've been an actor, and I did take guitar lessons in high school, and it just doesn't. My brain doesn't work that way. I don't know what to do about it, and so at this point, no ukulele in my near future. I don't think.
Well, I'll say in case you at some point feel like you have to succumb to the peer pressure. If you have any guitar background, my experience with ukulele is. Let's put this in context for people who don't know guitars. A capo is a thing on guitar that you put on to change the key. And it clamps down all the strings and changes the pitch on all the strings at once. Playing ukulele, the chords are just like you're playing capo 5. That's all it is. So and you're playing the 3 higher strings. So all the chord formations the 4 higher strings on guitar, you just transpose it 5 half steps. And all the chord formation, all the shapes line up in terms of what your fingers are doing. So that's my tip to you if you ever feel like you absolutely have to do something with ukulele.
Great.
Did any of that make any sense at all?
Riveting stuff, though.
Well, I remember for me, like, you know, again, I had guitar, I understood it, I got it in my brain, and I basically knew how to do it, but it was like, I don't know, I'm not really feeling this. And then I picked up the ukulele, 4 years ago or whatever it was, and I was like, oh, I get this. My hands are just too small. This fits much better. Great, I can do this.
Well, and that's true, and the fact that it's nylon strings instead of steel strings,
yep.
like a lot of people using on guitars, it's a little bit easier to build up those calluses without it being quite so painful. I've got my own experience with the ukulele was that a friend came over and had a uke and just sort of was like sitting around, and she's like, "Here, you want to play with?" And I'm like, "Okay, sure." And I couldn't put it down. Like, oh, this is so much fun. This is really cool because. And it's different enough, but similar enough that enough of the skills were, at least for me, were able to sort of transfer over. Like, okay, this is cool. This is the thing I'm doing now. So yeah. So are there ukuleles as part of the live mini Follies performances, or is that how is the musical part for that?
There are indeed. We have a lot of ukuleles and a lot of fun percussive instruments included there as well.
Oh, can you give us and you may not be able to demonstrate in this particular context, but give a sort of a taste of what people might see in terms of the percussion instruments during these performances?
Sure. So I think my favorite bit with an instrument is we have the lovely Jolie Lanning performing with us. And she has a xylophone that she is able to play, and she utilizes Matt Prideaux, one of our wonderful MFA apprentices, on all fours as the stand to put her xylophone on.
That was going to be my next question: is how do you have a mobile xylophone? And you just answered it brilliantly. Oh man, that's worth the price of admission right there. You get to see a human xylophone stand as part of the in-person Follies performances. That's very cool. In terms of we're coming up on the turn of the hour, so I want to be able to let people go. And also, often folks here on Rock in the Valley, there's great stuff coming up at 8 o'clock. Steve Jones is often on, sometimes has special guests with him. So check out that, and also you can see all the things on Rock in the Valley's website and YouTube, and the links to it on the Facebook page and whatnot. So as we begin to tie some loose ends together here, just what are the things that you are taking with you out of this Follies experience? Like, because obviously there are a lot of challenges going into it, but like Emma said, that there's very clearly the essence of Follies has been preserved despite all of the challenges and the limited time and the change in medium for the main show. What are the things that that are inspiring and fun about this to you so much for this year? Emma, we'll start with you.
Sure. I think this is a sort of broad, non-specific answer, but I think I think it's really a testament to the way that the arts community has been reinventing itself this year.
Sure.
And just aggressively, relentlessly reinventing ourselves this year. Yeah. And I think we've seen that across every possible medium, how, obviously the pandemic took us all by storm and sort of knocked us all off of our feet. And then a week or two later, musicians were like, okay, I guess I need to learn how to do a webcast. Right. And theater makers were like, okay, I guess we're figuring out how to use this Zoom thing to make plays.
Right.
And then as soon as we settled into that, it was like, okay, that's fine, but what else can we do? And I think our artistic director, JP Jordan's leadership has been really key in this, because he's been very much minded toward making sure that we are listening and then moving.
Okay.
Because it's very easy to just say, I've seen this thing, great, that's what I'm going to do now. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's the right answer, but other times it's okay, we need to figure out where we're at and absorb where we're at, and then gather that all up and make a decision. And once that happens, we just need to, get off and running. And I think that's sort of how we wound up here. You know, in the spring, we started off our pandemic theatering by doing a Zoom performance, and it was great.
Yes.
It was really successful. We had a great time. And then
this was the capstone of the Young Playwrights program
Yeah.
we're talking about for Young Playwrights Festival. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Adam and Sean did some really great work of sort of reinventing the wheel for their Fresh Voices showcase that they were doing as a part of their MFA coursework. And then over the summer, it was like, okay, that's fine, but like, let's get outside. What can we
Right.
do that's live and
Right.
safe? And now
Right,
it's like,
right.
okay, that was fine too, but what else can we do? So I think that sort of that constant turnover has been really big for me.
I guess, and it's probably invigorating, like, all right, so we've got new possibilities that we didn't even think about, but because we
Yeah.
have these constraints that we're working under, the creativity is squeezing out in all sorts of new places. Yeah, I don't know if that may be a little more graphic than I'd intended, but that's okay.
It's been a graphic kind of year.
Yes, indeed it has. Oh, and actually I wanted to mention that too, that I think the 2020 song was far more positive than I was anticipating. So, good on you for finding some optimism. Adam, what are the things you're taking away from Follies this year?
Yeah, I think that something that all artists in every form should try to think about and take from what we're going through right now is that this is truly an opportunity to reimagine what you do and explore brand new things to do. So I'm really inspired by, I'm a big music reader. I read a lot of music criticism and explore kind of the timeline of popular music artists. And 2020 has been really cool to see how a lot of artists have been pivoting to create new music that's totally outside of the box for what their normal aesthetic is.
Yeah.
And I'll give an example since I have the record staring at me in the face beyond the camera here. But an artist, Charlie XCX, who I love, did a DIY collaboration album with her fans that she essentially facilitated through Instagram. And it ended up not charting and being really unpopular in a sales sense, but was like one of my favorite pieces of music to come out.
Sure.
I've done a ton of new things in quarantine. I did my first Instagram live concert from a bathtub. I performed my Fresh Voices piece while live streaming while driving a car, while Sean sat in the passenger seat with the camera.
Right.
And through Follies, the greatest opportunity that I've had is the ability to actually operate a camera for a lot of our shoots. I was an amateur photographer in my younger years. Not that I'm old now, but when I say younger years, I mean when I was like 13, 14 years old.
Even younger.
Even younger than I am now. But really using this as an opportunity to explore new things about what your artistic voice can do and what your vision can morph into.
Sure.
I randomly started writing a pilot for a show last week that will never come to fruition, most likely. But it's a fun thing to keep me busy and explore my creativity since I can't go stand in front of people and perform for them as easily as I could before.
I think there are tons of possibilities that might end up being a show. Maybe not like a network show, maybe not like a Netflix show, but definitely something that you could make happen. I absolutely believe you could do that.
Thanks.
Yeah, so very, very cool. Sean, how about you? What are the things you're taking away from Follies this year?
Yeah, Follies and the whole year of 2020.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the word here is resilience.
Yeah.
And there's people that are struggling everywhere. There's companies and theater companies that are struggling everywhere. I know for me, one of the theaters that I worked at right out of my undergrad, they were in their same space for 14 years, and they just posted their last video exiting their space and moving on to a new property that they're going to be renting, but they just didn't have any income coming in. And we have not had to do that, right? I might be new to the group and everything, but everything that Touchstone and the administration and the company members have done to keep things rolling for the community, for the city, for the students that they have now has been amazing. It's been really important. I think that a lot of people in country in the world look to artists as kind of an example of what do we do? What are we supposed to be doing? And here it is, you know.
Yeah.
The world we knew might be gone.
Yeah.
It might be different.
Right.
Things might take a while to get back to normal, some sense of normalcy, but this is what is worth moving forward for. The music
art
and the shows and the art. It needs to keep going. It needs to survive. The theater industry has been dying for thousands of years and has not succumbed. We will not go away, you know, and Touchstone has been an incredible example of that resilience in this community and everywhere.
That is very cool, and on that inspiring note, we're gonna leave it right there. And I have nothing but froth in the bottom of my cute little mason jar, so that means it is definitely reached the end of my show. I raise my glass to all of you. Thanks very much to all of you and everybody at Touchstone for helping to make this happen. Thanks to everybody who's been watching. Cheers to all of you. Thank you so much. I'm gonna put the camera back on me and say thank you to all of you who are at home who have been watching along with us. I know many folks from the larger Touchstone orbit have checked out the live stream tonight as well, and I am very grateful for that as well. Also, I'm running out of words, but that's okay. My name is Mike. I am Not For Coltrane. Thank you so much for joining us here at Rock in the Valley's Cyber Speakeasy, your source for music, conversations, and cocktails. A little bit different show tonight, but we did get a lot of music in. Would love to see people coming out to the live in-person mini Follies shows this weekend and in coming dates. Check out the social media for all of that, as well as, we should say this, you can buy tickets for the virtual performance of Christmas City Follies 21. It will be a YouTube watch party. Tickets are available at touchstone.org, so please check those things out. My name is Mike. I am Not For Coltrane. I'll be right back here next week with more music, conversations, and cocktails here at Rock in the Valley Cyber Speakeasy. Until then, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you then.